Hello everyone. Our today's topic is DNA fingerprinting. We have understood Human Genome Project, and the last topic of this chapter, molecular basis of inheritance, is DNA fingerprinting. Let us understand that.
Hello everyone. Our today's topic is DNA fingerprinting. It is a known fact that no two individuals are similar, are identical, right? If you see this picture, you will understand how diverse we human population, right? Where you won't be seeing any individuals who are similar. Then, except that monozygotic twins, you can see from here, from zygote splits into two genetically identical uh, offsprings will be coming, and they are sharing. They are not sharing. I mean, they are sharing their placenta, right? And here they will be having in the dizygotic. They will be having separate placenta. And the scientists have uncovered the fact that every individual has a unique DNA fingerprinting. So this DNA fingerprint or DNA profile is same for each and every cell in your body, but it is different from other person. So what do you mean by this DNA sequencing? If we say, I mean DNA fingerprinting or DNA profiling or DNA typing, it actually refers to the DNA sequence in the cell of an individual. So in this technique, identity, we will be identifying the similarities and differences of the DNA fragments of two individuals. And this is developed by Alec Jeffreys in the year 1985. Let us understand what are the basis of DNA. In the previous topic, that is Human Genome Project, we have understood that about 99.9% of the base sequence among the humans is same, and that is what we call it as a bulk genomic DNA. So we know that how much base pairs of a human genome is having 3 into 10 raised to 9, right? So in how many base sequence would there be a difference in between the humans? And if there is a difference in, for example, there is a difference in you and me, with yours, there is a difference in your sister or brother and you, right? So what is it? Why there is a difference? Because of this DNA, right? And where that difference is present in the nucleotide sequence of that DNA, and that and how many sequences make this difference? So the question arises, right? So for that, if we see the answer, see, DNA carries some non-coding repetitive sequence. You can see this blue color in the chromosome. These are the repetitive sequences where these genes do not code for any protein. So from this, there is no formation of the mRNA and no formation of the protein, and there is no trait. Okay, so these repetitive DNA are unique in each other, in each person. So first, what we need to do, we need to separate this repetitive DNA and from this bulk DNA. Okay, how do we separate? We separate them from the centrifugation, density gradient centrifugation. So where the heavy main bands, we can say, they will be settling at the down, which are nothing but the bulk genome, and the light DNA, which is satellite bands. So these are the repeated DNAs, and they will be at the top. Here you can see the graphical representation of this density gradient centrifugation, that is bulk genomic DNA, you can see. And also here there will be a satellite DNA, the smaller peak. So Based on this base composition, or whether it is AT rich or GC rich, based on that, the length of segment also. What is the length? You can see here the length of the segment and how many repetitive units are there. So based on that, the satellite DNA has been classified into mini satellite DNA and microsatellite DNA. You can see here, these are the many units. You can see the length, you can see, right? So in that, one unit contains how many nucleotides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 11 nucleotides will be there in one repeat. So this will be repeated many times. So you can see the polymorphic mini satellite tandem repeats. Here you can observe over here, three persons are there. This is the DNA, you can see, where this is the gene, yellow color which is there, that is the gene. So which codes for the uh, mRNA. From mRNA what will be producing? Protein, and from the protein we can expect the characters in the phenotype. And the DNAs which is over here, you can see that is the non-coding sequence. So in that non-coding sequence, you can see some repetitive sequences over here. So green color and blue color. See, for example, if there is a repetitive sequence, is CAA like that, and that will be repeated 10 times in one person and 14 times in another person and 5 times in one person. So this is what the difference that each one of us are having. In, for example, if you take this person, so in this person it is in each and every cell of him, this nucleotide sequence or this repetitive DNA is repeated like these many times, 10 times, right? So, and like this, we can see in each and individual, this is the one which is differing, and this is also the basis for DNA fingerprinting. Mm. And here you can see that is VNTR, which is the main thing we are using over here. This is the concept where tandemly repeated in many copy numbers is called variable number of tandem repeats. So it belongs to mini satellite. Here you have to remember. So it belongs to mini satellite. VNTR belongs to mini satellite. So you can see it repeated many times. This is the VNTR region where in person to person it varies. Okay. So in the mini satellite, VNTR will be like it is more than 6 to um, 15 to 100 base pairs, and repeated 100 to 1000 times it is repeated. But if you see in the micro satellite, the base pairs will be 2 to 6 base pairs, you can see. And uh, so this is what the one which is we are using, that is from the mini satellite. VNTR are the ones we are using. So in the person, the copy number varies in each chromosomes. So here itself you can observe, this is from the mother chromosome and this is from the father chromosome. So the two alleles of a chromosome also contain different copy numbers of VNTR. So here you can observe the hair from the mother and from the father and what the child has having. So these repeated number, how many times it has been repeated, that you can see here. And then what we will do is when we separate them, we will be getting a different bands over here. So right here, what are those bands, you might ask the question. So this is what those bands where they will be separated based on the size of it. Mm. So any difference in the DNA nucleotide sequence which is observed in the population is called DNA polymorphism. Remember one more thing, polymorphism is also one of the um, uh, part we will be using for, I mean, one of the concept we are using for DNA fingerprinting. So polymorphism is higher in non-coding DNA sequence because mutations in these sequence may not affect an individual reproductive ability because it does not take part in reproductive things, see, reproductive process. So these are the mutations which are accumulating over generation after generation, and this is what which is occurring, polymorphism. So this polymorphism has had a great role in evolution. Okay, here you can see the polymorphism, single nucleotide polymorphism. In individual B, C, and D, you can see the same nucleotide, but in individual A, the center one, the nucleotide has been changed. So this is what the polymorphism. There is a difference. Here also you can see instead of AT, it has come TA. Instead of AT, it has come GC. So like that, it has been changed, and these things we call it as a single nucleotide polymorphism. And now come to the important point. What is that? Steps of DNA fingerprinting, that is Southern blotting technique. First, we need to isolate the DNA. From where do we isolate these DNA? So from any cells, it might be the blood stains, semens, stains, or hair roots. So from all these parts, we will be taking the sample, and as we will be having very less quantity of this DNA, what can we do? We will make multiple copies of it. Think that you have one single form where you need to fill the lot of information, and you should not make it any, you should not make any mistakes over it. So what you will do first, you will take one or two copies of it, and you will try to fill it in that one, the copy which you have taken before filling it in the original, right? So for only that filling purpose, you are making 2 or 3 copies. Then you think we will be identifying through the gel electrophoresis. So how many copy numbers will be there? So for that, do you think only one DNA is enough? No, right? We need many copies of it. So that is what amplification, and this is done by PCR. PCR copy you can see over here, and that is nothing but the polymerase chain reaction. And the next step is we will be digesting the DNA which we have got, sample whatever we have taken, we will be digesting. So digesting means we have to cut it somewhere where it should not get um, any harm. So we will be cutting with the biological scissors, which are those restriction endonuclease in between the GAAG. You can see we are cutting the DNA, and it will be providing overhanging. Can you see here? This is A for T and A for T, T for A, T for A. So like this overhangings will be produced while we digest it. And then we will be separating those fragments by gel electrophores. We will be filling those samples over here, and we will be switching on the electrode so that whatever the action should take place, it will take place, and these will move towards the downward direction where the um, where it will be moved till down. Okay, and the next step is so our next step is we will be treating with the alkali solution to denature or to separate these DNA strands into single strands. After that, we will be transferring those single stranded DNA fragments onto the synthetic membrane, that is nothing but nitrocellulose or nylon, and then it will be baked in a vacuum oven at 80 degrees centigrade for around 3 to 5 hours, so that these DNA fragments should be fixed on that membrane. And the seventh step is we will be placing the nitrocellulose filter paper in a solution in a box like thing. If you see there in a solution, we will be putting that nitrocellulose paper, so which contains radioactive labeled single stranded DNA probe. They will go and attach to the DNA. So the DNA attached to which DNA which is complementary to it. So the DNA fragment on the membrane to form a hybridized DNA, and then the filter paper is washed to remove the unbound probes. So you might get the question, what is that DNA probe? So this DNA probe, where you will be knowing what kind of the sequence you will be sending putting to it, and here you can see the number of nucleotide bases where you will be knowing what it is. So it will go and bind to the complementary stand only. Hmm. So this is the DNA probe which you can observe, which will be bind to the gene of interest, and it is represented in DNA. And the next step is hybridization of these DNA, and we will be seeing it in the photograph film or X-ray film. So by autoradiography, and the image of the hybridized DNA is obtained. This image is obtained by DNA fingerprinting. How to compare that sequenced repeats of humans, you can see. So she is a victim, and in the crime scene they have got little blood stains, and they suspected three might be the reason for this crime. So can you observe and tell me the what they got in the crime scene? Is there anything which is which we can say that any one of these have done this? Yes, you can see the crime scene and the suspect too. So where the tandem repeats are similar. So this is also one of the use of it. And here you can observe there they have given the paternal and maternal chromosome, and you can see these number of units. So in the paternal 1, 2, 3, and from the maternal chromosome you can see 4. So the chromosome 7 is 3 and 4. The red line you can see this chromosome 7 is 3 and 4. And this chromosome 2, how many units are having? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many tandem repeats are there for the 7? 8. You can see the 8 and 6, right? Here also you can see 8 and 6, 8, sorry, 8 and 7. And the child you can focus, I mean match with this chromosome 7 also similar, chromosome 2 also, sorry, 7 also similar, and the last remaining 2 is also similar, isn't it? So by this we can identify C and B are related very highly. So this is all about the procedures which we have studied for the DNA fingerprinting. Now we will understand the application of DNA fingerprinting. So it's a forensic tool to solve the many tough paternity cases like paternity case, rape case, murder cases, etc. And for the disease, for the genetic diseases, and also to determine the phylogenetic status. So those were the applications, and I hope you have understood this DNA fingerprinting. If there is any questions, you can send it so that we will be able to solve it. Thank you.